Get in, nerds. We're playing Victoria 3. We are out here working on getting our infamy down so that we can continue to freely pursue conquests in Europe as well as in Africa. In terms of economic development, I still, in order to complete the event for these areas, need to get the population of French people up, and that means I need to increase the migration attraction of these areas. And in order to do that, I need to build up a lot of industry, because I need there to not be a bunch of unemployed pops, and further than that, I need there to be a lot of good solid jobs available. So, we're going to work on that as we get going. We're still doing a massive railway increase, but that's going to be a process that can wait. Got a lot of extra... Oh, right. We've got extra bureaucracy because of the bureaucracy thing that we're doing. That's not real extra bureaucracy. Alright, cool. So I don't need to worry about that. So I think, for one thing, we're going to get some additional... construction sectors going on here. We'll do one in Tunisia as well. And we'll pop those up to the top. That'll help us get those areas properly ready to get built up. So what is our market need? Wood is still pretty tight. Glass is still pretty tight. We're outputting a ton of porcelain. We're basically the porcelain basket of Europe right now. And that's probably going to continue. Let's take a look at our trade routes. Our wine export to the United States is not profitable, so we'll cut that. Everything else is looking okay. This grain export to Great Qing is not profitable, so we can get rid of that. We're also not on... We're still on protectionism, which is generating quite a bit of revenue for the government in tariffs. Gosh, look at that list. Wow, that is so much that we're exporting and importing right now. Wild. There were a few goods that I messed with the trade policy for that I should set back to neutral. In particular, I think dyes was a funny one. Nope, you're on no priority still. Excellent. We're drafting our law. Very good. What about... Is there... No? Is there any way to see all these as a list next to each other? I guess not. Well, that's okay. So, I think we're going to go with Glassworks, steel mills, and food industries, and tooling workshops. Can't go wrong with tooling workshops. Alright, so we'll get those queued up. So that's going to be... Where are we here? Oh, we need universities for those areas, for sure. We got 2 levels. Food industries will do 5 each. Glassworks will do 5 each. And steel mills will go ahead and do 10 each. North Africa is going to produce a lot of steel for us. That's pretty far down the development plan, but it is what it is. So these should be... Are these fully incorporated? You're incorporated, you're incorporated, you're incorporated. Fully owned, incorporated with turmoil below 10%. You don't currently have turmoil in these areas, or it would say. So why is that flag not... Ooh, iron. So why does this flag not... Why is this not yes? And then we need the French population up, or we need to accept these cultures. Why? They're not split states. They're all incorporated. Algiers, Oran, and Constantine. And none of them have turmoil. Defensive pact with Brazil, I don't desire that. Agriculture 3 play. Just from Atlas Mountains. Nothing from... Mortality of laborers, mobilization goods requirements, mortality. I wonder why that's not working. I'm just looking for penalties here in the state, in the full list of state modifiers, because I want... Oh, they do have turmoil. It's here. It's here under information. Okay, interesting. 21%, 20%, 17%. So hopefully that should go down over time due to the buildup of buildings in these areas. How are we for infrastructure? We got 50 available here. Yeah, oh yeah, we've got plenty of infrastructure available. Good, that's very good. Debate the minor interests. Colonial affairs increased to 4. Wonderful. Regardless of the governing caucus's stance, the fiercest debates on elected bureaucrats come from these two, the armed forces and Elie Couvry. The end is nowhere in sight. Once in a blue moon, the government sees a minor issue to appease an ally or placate an enemy. Invariably, it crosses someone else's line. Some might call enemy of my enemy and expect an alliance of convenience. Others often rightly expect a velveteen fist. Let them bicker. This is 33% chance each of Elie Couvry. Which group is Elie Couvry? You're you're the Catholic Church. So this will get, one of them gets weak and one of them gets stronger, the other gets annoyed, or we get lower stratopops mad, or I can support one of them over the other. Philosophical pragmatism is just one of those technologies that's not all that important for me. That'll make the armed forces mad. This will make... Oh, interesting. This will reduce political movement radicalism and make Couvry less popular. This will increase his radicalism and make him more popular, but it will make the armed forces weaker but also angry. I'm okay with the armed forces being weaker for now. Let's do it. So that should increase our chance by a little bit. Let's wait until the week ticks over for it to reassess. Oh, interesting. Oh, now we've got our movement for restricted child labor. I wonder if he just needed to be a little bit more popular before he could do that. That's neat. That's funny. I completely forgot he wasn't even part of this movement. That's me. Sorry, I had a little break between this session and the last. Where are we? We're still building up. Okay, so we're getting our government admin, we're getting our railways, and then it's time for rubber plantations. Our legitimacy is still pretty significant. So this will generate a bunch of radicals, but I'm hoping to actually complete that movement pretty quickly once the elected bureaucrats situation is concluded. So let's see. Technically I can provide additional fertilizer, but fertilizer in our market is so cheap right now that it's really not worth it. Really, fertilizer is holding down the production of explosives, so I'm just going to leave that where it is for the time being. We're producing quite a bit of art. Oh, I think Yeah, I'm going to change my ownership method for arts academies to independent artists. That's going to reduce the number of aristocrats and capitalists we have and increase the number of academics. Excellent, we're getting immigration from northern Italy. The reason that matters is because those capitalists are mostly supporting the Democratic Alliance, and those aristocrats are mostly supporting the landowners. Academics almost invariably support the intelligentsia, and that's good for us. So we'll go ahead and do that. How's our infamy? It's getting down there. It's getting down there. We need to let it hit all the way down to 0 for this technique to work right now. And reinforced concrete is nearly finished. That's very good. French Foreign Legion is something I do want to do. So this basically requires us to have level 20 barracks in all 3 states in Algeria, in coastal Algeria, Oran, Algiers, and Constantine. So we're definitely going to do that. We could incorporate Tunisia. That's tempting. I'm going to wait for now, though. I'm hoping that completing the Algerian Departments gives us some kind of... maybe gives us a couple of additional accepted cultures. That would be fun. That would sure be good business. Alright, we're starting to get these rubber plantations built. That's very good. I'm going to wait until I've kind of got a whole first round of them constructed before I switch over my production methods for the textile mills. But for now, let's actually go ahead and flip over to bicycle messengers. Ooh, excellent. Another success on enacting elected bureaucrats. That's wonderful. That'll get us a boatload of loyalists. More likely it will de-radicalize people, but that'll be good. Which we're doing pretty well on right now. We're mostly not having radicals have very strong influence on our interest groups, and more importantly, we're getting a lot of bonuses to interest group approval due to having a lot of loyalists. So I want to keep working on that. But this is going to be a priority because we absolutely have to get our literacy level up if we're going to continue to be on the cutting edge technologically. We're pulling a lot of money out of the investment pool right now, so we'll see how things go with that. I need to hold off building more construction sectors, that means. We're having a rubber shortage. That's not shocking, but that will sort itself out as we get more of these plantations built. Untrained Hands. Children working in the furniture manufactories in Marrakesh have suffered injuries trying to operate the machinery used in the production. After examining the boy's hand, the doctor sat back, turned to the mother, and sighed deeply. "Well, I'm afraid your son is never going to become a great musician," he said. "But then again, perhaps that was never one of his more likely prospects. Keep children off the factory floor. This reduces dependents' income, or the new industries need all the employees they can get. This makes the trade unions mad and increases mortality of laborers in manufacturing." What are you? Republican. Interesting. This is going to mess with the standard of living by a little bit. But mortality is not great either. I can tolerate some angry trade unionists, I think. So we're going to go this. Oh, God. So much mortality, though. Ugh. But yeah, this is going to be dependence income for everything. So, and I don't want to go too far with that because I'm about to actually affect that further by restricting child labor. So we're going to go this way. It'd be interesting if this affected this movement at all, but it doesn't seem to for now. So we'll do that. Again, keeping an eye on our infamy. Oh, uneven number of battalions again. Weird. Alright, perfect. So that's helping out with the rubber situation. Getting a massive spike in the size of the glass market. That's shocking, but not unfortunate. So let's go ahead and flip over the textile mills to the elastics method. Oh, let's actually not do that quite yet. Lost a general. So a big Bonapartist, I think. Let's go ahead and recruit a new one. Oh, the North Africa HQ. Yeah, he's our guy. So, we have an authoritarian. That could be interesting. Arrogant pillager. An Orleaniste. Offensive planner, experienced colonial administrator. That's a very good character. Wounded is not great. He's a Bonapartist. Let's go with this guy. This guy. Henri d'Orléans. Interesting. I forget what Orleaniste does, actually. East Sahara colonization is completed. Very good. That's right. Free traders and all that. Market liberalism. What areas we can... Okay, so we're only colonizing one area at this point, so I think it's time to get moving in to these heavily malarial areas. And we'll just have to kind of tolerate that this colonization is not going to be very efficient. We're not going to be doing a great job of outracing the British there because we don't have the technology. They don't either, so I'm not feeling too bad about it. We're seeing a major increase in glass needs. I'm going to continue to try to... Nowhere else to really export porcelain to, which is a shame, because that's something that could be very, very productive for us economically. So we've gotten all of these rubber plantations built. That has put rubber way down here. That's very good. Let's go ahead and increase our elastic, put on the elastics method. So that's going to significantly lead to a hike in the price of rubber. As the week turns over, we are continuing to expand production on that. That's going to tank the price of luxury clothes, but we can export a ton of them. So let's export a ton of them. That makes us the #1 worldwide producer of luxury clothes. So how does that change the luxury clothes market now? Hey, there's elected bureaucrats. We're going to go immediately on to restricted child labor. The industrialists are not going to like this, but so far they're not putting up a fight, which is delightful. So, price of rubber continues to be high, but we're still building a few more of these plantations. That's very good. Price of luxury clothes continues to be low. Let's continue to increase exports as we become also the luxury clothes basket of Europe. See, part of the reason I'm hesitant to switch over to the covered markets production method is that I don't want to completely mess up my glass market, although it would help me from a wood perspective. Where is services here? Services is the little bell. Services are pretty cheap already. I'm not producing an overwhelming... I'm producing a pretty high number of services to begin with. Reducing the price of services will increase standard of living, but only marginally, and... Ooh, I got a rubber boom. The Union of Rights. That's a lot. So what I was saying was, I don't want to necessarily mess up the I don't want to necessarily mess up the services market, because I don't know what kind of outcome that's going to have. Rubber boom. The recent expansions of the rubber plantations in French Togo has yielded extremely promising results. The French Empire threatens to lead the world in rubber production. The question is not what can be done with rubber, but rather what cannot be done. There is no end to its potential utilization, and it will surely become the foundational material of the modern world. Our finest minds are developing new applications of this versatile material. We need more rubber. Cool. Can I export rubber? Where is rubber in my market? It's down here. Does anyone want it? Not really. Wish I could kind of see global demand. So, Union of Rights. Who are they? I see. So the Catholic Church has split off and become its own faction, and the petite bourgeoisie will join the Republican Union on the next government reform. I don't know exactly how that's going to affect things from here, though. So we're going to leave that for now. We're going to leave that for now, because I don't... I'm in a good place with my legitimacy. I'm getting a lot of extra loyalists every month, and I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm sacrificing that. Rubber in Guyana. Wonderful. Nope, can't live with that. See, the problem with the intelligentsia is they don't play well with these more reactionary factions. The armed forces, the petite bourgeoisie, etc., etc. What if I just did these two? Nope, it's not gonna work at all. Interestingly, the Catholic Church are now powerful, and the armed forces are much weaker, and the landowners have become completely marginalized. Okay, so I don't need to suppress them anymore. We got... Ooh, excellent. We're on to drafting already. Rubber Rush. I'm going to go ahead and... We've seen this... We're going to see this event and have seen this event a million times. I'm just going to say this place seems to be most effective. Gold Rush. I'm just going to go... It's mine. It's all mine. I'm going to do the same here. As we've expanded our various... things, we've gone down in overall revenue, but that's fine. Great Britain is angry again. Well, that is what it is, Great Britain. Not necessarily going to rival you right now. Better things to do. This guy is... What if I pull the Party of Order into the government now that they're just the Catholic Church, that would keep me legitimate, which is interesting. That's an interesting situation to be in. I've got a big loyalty bump from completing my transition over to elected bureaucrats, and I've also got a much higher amount of bureaucracy available. So I'm in a good position. Oh, you're embargoing us. Very well. Have an embargo back, Great Britain. So, we're currently working on Jeune École, and I think it's time to get our naval expansion started. So we'll go ahead with that. Let's see now. Got quite a bit of available labor in some of these states, particularly Normandy. And we'll put some in Corsica, some in North Africa, get those going. So, where does that put us for naval bases? It puts us just north of 200. I think that's going to be just fine. And as part of our North African industrial expansion, in order to service those naval bases, I think we're going to need some additional shipyards. So, let's go ahead and put... Where have we got the most labor available? It's really Constantine. We'll put 5 levels each in Constantine and Algiers. Let me just take a quick run at our market. We're doing just fine for ironclads, but where are we for steamers? We're doing just fine for steamers. Alright, so that shouldn't be a problem. But we don't really need additional ports, so we won't get additional ports. Things continue apace. Here's our infamy at 5.8. We're getting very close to our point where we can puppet Switzerland. Enlistment offices are researched. Just going to take a quick look at our military technology here. We are working on all the naval ones. Do we have anything spreading to us? We have hand-cranked machine guns spreading to us now. That's good. I don't necessarily want to have to research that. So once we've got Je ne Colle research, then we'll have Monitor, which is a more ironclads-intensive method, I believe. Let's double-check on that. So we're currently on ironclad. Yes, this is more ironclads and more ammunition. And with a large naval expansion, once that gets completed, will be... our naval power projection will go up significantly. And then, perhaps... we'll be able to rival Great Britain in prestige. Now, let's see where we are. We have a righteous government. Interesting. I'm going to not let the petite bourgeoisie join up with us because I like having a really high level of government legitimacy. And I'm hoping it stays where it is. The Catholic Church got significantly weaker, and the Agrarian and Farmer Party got significantly stronger. The Industrialists' Democratic Alliance and the Armed Forces Union of Rights both continue to be pretty solid, powerful parties. So we'll allow them to continue with what they're doing for the moment. We do have a lot of authority available, and I don't really feel like suppressing anyone. Oh, right. I remember what I was going to do with all this authority, is I was going to... Well, I got a lot of places I could violently suppress dissent, huh? I'm going to do greener grasses campaigns in these areas to increase their migration attraction. It's still pretty low here, but I'm hoping we can increase that by increasing the overall level of industry in those areas. We're currently building just a bunch of glassworks. So I'm hoping this will also, because these provide good solid industrial jobs, I'm hoping these will also reduce the overall level of discord? What's it called? Turmoil in these places by providing higher standards of living. Okay, so we're getting there. It's working so far. And after the glassworks, we're going to do a bunch of steel mills. Those glassworks are going to be extremely profitable due to the high price of glass right now. Cool. Things are going well. Things are going very well. I don't need to reform my government. I'm not gonna. The Great French Kenya eruption. An eruption of unprecedented records has utterly destroyed the lives of many in the state of French Kenya. The explosion could be heard from hundreds of miles away, and anything that had the ill fate of surrounding the mountain was immediately devastated. And the day was made night. Enormous waterfalls of fire cascading down the mountainside. A black cloud, gargantuan. All the birds have long abandoned this field. Years from now I will sit by the fireplace, and the light will disturb me no more. Unfortunately, we have no funds to allocate. Big old devastation. Or we absolutely need to help these people. 120K in government expenses. Nope, can't afford that. I wish those things were not scaled with country size, because I really feel like it would be better if you were allowed to get put as much in there as you like. Like, I think it makes sense that if you're a larger country, it might cost more because it's maybe inefficient, but I like the idea that, like, because of our large economy, this is more manageable for us than it would be for a smaller country. Like, I think it makes sense because there's, like, it's a smaller proportion of your area being affected. I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way. I was also thinking about one thing, which is that we don't have Quebec under our control, and we should, because Franco-Canadians are Francophone. So that's definitely going to be on the agenda. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to do that, but don't think I've forgotten about you, French Canada. I have not. What's going... Oh, unavoidable injuries. With the government push for restricted child labor, adult men have been pressed to cover the gap that they would leave behind. However, their bodies are too large and their fingers too wide for it, and industrial accidents have been increasing. Their screams filled the factory. Their blood covered the machines, as if they had a heart of their own. It's the 10th time in a week that a man cuts his finger trying to operate some tiny machinery, previously manipulated only by the slender hands of a child. The protests have been rising. If not them, then it's us. No one should be doing this kind of work. This slows things way down. Appease the workers. Increase enactment time. Reduce enactment chance. Increase enactment time by 20%. Reduce enactment chance by 10%. Or, children aren't coming back, so they better get used to it. This increases enactment time, but also increases enactment chance. Gives us a bunch of radicals in Ile-de-France. I'm going to go for this. Among... The 5% laborers and machinists pops being more radical isn't that big of a deal. Standards of living are very high in Ile-de-France, so I'm not worried about that, and I do so love having increased enactment chance. I can't even describe to you how pleased I am to have increased enactment chance. I think realistically, I could start colonizing one of these other areas. Great Britain's moving slowly here now that it's into these areas that have severe malaria. I could probably, but I'm still going pretty quickly over here in North Africa, so I'm going to continue with that for now. 3.1. I think I'm going to go to the middle of the year, the middle of 74, and then cut the episode, and then after that we'll commence with the conquest of Switzerland. Yes, we're going to have to puppet it first and make it into, and then annex it later. Tuscany are improving relations. That's completely fine with me. There's a civil war in Jabal Shamar. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it is what it is. I also intend to do some adventurism in Egypt. I know that was a thing that Napoleon got up to. I'm not sure historically if it ended up really working out in any meaningful way, but it's definitely something that's kind of on the docket for now. We're still... These are taking a long time to build. I will say, I do declare it is being a long time for these things to get built. Ah, this is very good. This is a consequence of our continually increasing economy. I do still want to continue to output additional literacy. Here's where I can look at my uncapped total innovation. Okay, interesting. It's under literacy. So there is a mechanic by which 60% of excess innovation spills over 20% into each category, but into whatever technology is spreading in those categories rather than... Ooh, excellent. Progressed again. We're nearly there. Into whatever technology is spreading rather than whatever technology is actively being researched. So that's a mechanic. But I don't know exactly how it I don't know exactly how it affects... What am I trying to say here? I do know exactly how it affects things. I don't know why I'm just logaraic right now. That's just what's happening in my brain. This is what happens when you watch a YouTube channel that's being run by a drunk cat instead of a person. I don't recommend it. I'm just kidding. You should continue to watch this channel. It's nice. Very chill. I mean, France is not chill right now. We're just continuously expanding in Europe and consuming small countries and other states to incorporate them into an ever larger blue blob, as France has been described as in the Europa Universalis world. And indeed in many other paradox situations. Before we go, let's just what would it take? How much infamy would it be? 113. And we'd have to fight Great Britain. But we could fight Great Britain. If we stole the British Raj, it would be 113 infamy. Okay. I want to leave you with that. That's we're not necessarily looking to do that, but that's where we are emotionally and intellectually at this point in the run. I'm feeling very full of myself. I'm very ready to engage in foreign adventurism. But with that having been said, that's all we're going to have for this episode. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun. And I'll see you all on the other side.